All right, we should be going shortly. This is the race between number 23, bentglasstube, and number 36, UndeadFil. While I swivel my chair in the most annoyingly loud way possible, it is boiling hot in my room. I don't know why. Should be a good match here. It's win or go home. As they both lost in the first round. bentglasstube lost to the Buzz Thunder, and UndeadFil lost to John. No, he did not. He lost to John Bloody Thumbs in the first round. bentglasstube had a bye into the second round and lost to Buzz Thunder there. But this is the round one of the bonus bracket. Winner moves on to face Jake Hopper. Players are going to the bathroom and grabbing themselves a cold beverage. As always, let me know if I'm missing anything. It's kind of tricky to watch two screens, especially if you're concentrating on one runner's antics. And blink and you miss it kind of deal. And they're off, or the countdown for them is on the way. We'll start the timer as soon as I see it happen on the restream, the multi-twitch. We'll throw up the text there. Well, that's not the text. There we go. And as soon as one person hits that screen where it says how many lives they have, we'll hit it, and there we go. There's our timer. Everything's sorted. I will not move my mouse over that. See what our old overworld is. There's a town right away. It is Rudo. So bentglasstube will leave there. He'll check the grass spot. Grass spot is just a regular encounter. UndeadFil is going to check the town and then go south. He's going to go into the desert spot there. Pick up a P bag, a 200-point P bag. That's going to put him attack 1. Or he's going to take life. And he's going to take life and attack, it looks like. Or he's going to go life and magic. He's going to forego attack. Not too bad. Early cave. Death Mountain. We'll label this as Death Mountain 1. bentglasstube is going to go through it. And I talked to bentglasstube last night. He helped me commentate a match. And we discussed strategies and stuff. And one of his strategies was, you see Death Mountain, you go to all the caves, and then you kind of leave. We got the front part of Jump Cave on UndeadFil's screen. He won't take it. He'll go right out. If you hear sirens in the background, there's no fires or anything going on. I think it's kind of like a community thing with kids. They're giving the kids a ride around in police cars or fire engines, and they're running the sirens every once in a while. Certainly scary when you hear it like 4 hours in a row, but what are you going to do? These desert encounters, they're brutal. And these are the normal ones. The harder ones are actually easier because it's based on sprite height, whether the enemy is small or large technically. And these encounters would normally have those worms. The worms are thereby replaced by Daras and Gorillas and Moblins. It's not fun sometimes. Spectacle Rock on bentglass's side, if he can remember how to get back there and finds the hammer, could be key to picking up an item he needs for a spell or just an item for progression. UndeadFil finds Palace number 3. Comes right back out. Doesn't even check to see what the nut knuckle is worth. But he is bailing into all the caves. This is a small item. All the tiles. This is a small item forest spot. It's the red jar. And in another palace. And it is Palace 1. Let's see what he does. He is just checking to make sure it's Palace 1, I guess. And then he's gonna leave. He's gonna explore as much as he can. Do much of the things. And see what items he can walk away with. I believe we have not seen an item yet. Here is the P bag cave. He's gonna leave there. So interesting to note about that P-Bear cave, if you see any caves now blocked by a boulder, that is a hammer blocked item. Because only the item spots and that P-Bag spot can be blocked by a boulder. And this early game is more about exploration of the western continent. Easy items to get. You gotta locate the palaces, locate the raft spot. You know, sometimes you may have to return. So it's nice to know where stuff is and how to progress. Only one town of the 4 we've seen so far. And we haven't seen that many pass-through caves. Bentglasstube finds the hammer spot, the hammer cave. We'll see what items in there are pretty shortly. UndeadFil did get wamboozled. Game over. He's back to start. He's going to jump into Palace 1 now. He's tired of exploring. He wants to progress, probably. And what better way to do it than Palace 1? At 222, look like 570. Yeah, 570 is your next attack level. There's a possibility he can get the 570 and then get the necessary XP to then get attack 4 when he places the gem. It's a possibility. And he definitely knows where the item room is. He just doesn't have the key and or fairy spell yet. So we'll see what he does. If he finds a key and returns there right away, or if he makes sure he completes the dungeon first. Bentglasstube's having a difficult time of this hammer cave. That axe dire, like, there's nothing he can do here. He's just going to get hit in the back. He just has to hope he survives and he makes it to the elevator. I believe he has 1 life left. If he would die here. No way of replenishing his health. No life spell, and there's no fairy in this in Death Mountain in general. I do not believe. UndeadFil takes a game over, and we are in the cave that contains an item. Let's see if Bentglasstube can get there. He has 1 life left. Oh, that was his game over. Uh-oh. Hope he knows how to get back there, or if he just abandons that plan altogether. That is not a good feeling right there. That Dyra just wreaked havoc. With no jump, no shield, no down stab. The only thing to do is to fight him. And if you fight him, it's going to take a little while with attack 2. Not a good situation. See what he does, though. He opts to go right here on this desert encounter, but I think that was the harder desert encounter, which is actually the easier desert encounter because of randomizer. I wouldn't blame Bentglasstube here if he just starts exploring rather than jumping back into Death Mountain. He knows what fate awaits him there. He knows how to get back there. So it's an easy return trip if he took good notes. But there's also a chance he just took caves and doesn't know how to get back there. UndeadFil took the key, goes in, and it's a raft. One of the few required items or spells to complete the game, along with the glove. And I'm not necessarily too sure the glove is required, but it most likely will be based on arrangement of the rooms. The glove, the raft, and the reflect and thunder spells are absolutely required most of the time. And then you have your cosmetic convenient items like the boots, the hammer, the magic key, and then even on a tier below that, the whistle, flute, horn, candlestick is also sometimes required. Horsehead fight. UndeadFil will be is done now with Palace 1. He got the item. He's going to place the gem. He is going to go back and get the 28 experience points here. And I don't know what these guys were worth. They can be worth up to 20. They're worth 2. This is going to take a little while, and then they tend to get stuck underneath the floor. But maybe these polar bears, 5. That's even better. He'll do this. He'll grind here. He'll get to that next plateau where he needs 570 more, and then he'll move on from there. Take attack 3 and then be on with it. P-Bag Cave produces a link up. Not the best of things. I mean, Red Jar is even worse at this point in time right now. But the link up is normally nullified by the fact that you can up A, or that you do up A so frequently in the game. Having that up A, though, I mean, having that link up right now, though, I might jump back into Death Mountain. That might be the thing you need to progress and get through that hammer cave. You already know where it is. So at this point, you waste that time to find it. You might as well just go back and complete the job. But he loses that extra life now, so he's back to stock amount of lives, and maybe that's not even a possibility anymore. UndeadFil does place the gem. I should update the tracker. He is player 2. He does have the raft. He does have Palace 1. There we go. There's another race going on right now. It started an hour earlier, so it's going to end earlier, most likely. So I definitely want to make sure I'm on top of the stuff, so that when people join us, they know exactly what's going on. And they have not seen that much. They've seen Palace 1. We've seen Palace 1 completed. We've seen the item in Palace 1, the raft. And we've seen Palace 3. We've seen the front end of Jump Cave, the front end of Death Mountain, or a end of Death Mountain. We don't know which one it is. And we've seen Rudo. And that's it. But here's the magic container cave on UndeadFil's side. So we will get an item. This is the first of the Western Continent items that we're going to find. It's the heart container. So UndeadFil gets that. And I've lost track of where bentglasstube is going. He's just really exploring right now. There's the grass spot. The grass spot is a magic container. So UndeadFil is stacking up health and magic here. Not the worst thing in the world. He has the raft. You'd like to see the glove or the magic key or something. But early heart containers, magic containers, that can go a long way into limiting the game overs. He finds the third of the caves here. It's the medicine cave. While bentglasstube is finding the heart container in magic container cave. So they're basically in the same area. They'll with proper exploration and navigation, they'll get all the items simultaneously here in different orders. It's the flute is in the medicine cave. So UndeadFil picks that up. Not entirely useful most of the time. Rare is a seed where you're going to be River Devil or Road Devil blocked, I guess, in the randomizer. But it may enable you to skip an encounter or skip a cave, like a pass-through cave. Or if you can't find the boots, you know, and you can't walk around spots, it could definitely be useful there. So it's not the worst thing in the world. It's up there, but it's not the worst. Because we can all agree that's Bagu and his note. Speaking of Bagu and his notes, possibly useless as always because UndeadFil finds the party end of Saria. He can grab the mirror here, get a spell. Now we did see the front side of it, the party side. The business side is still left to be undiscovered. It may be something that takes people to a unique area. So let's not dismiss Bagu's notes yet, or the fact that it could also be fairy. Could take you across that bridge gap and put you on the other side, which takes you into a whole different area where Palace 2 and like the Trophy Cave might be. But we do know that the mirror yielded the jump spell, our first spell of the game. While bentglasstube gets wamboozled there for the second time, I think, this game. Looked like he got the magic container in the grass tile, and and I'll see as soon as he gets into this cave, well, a cave. So I can see how many he has. He should have 5 of each at this point. But he did miss out on the medicine cave with the flute, so he'll have to get back in that area to do it. And this screen is just not nice to him. Tell you, the chaos of different enemy types doing different types of things to you is kind of frustrating. You have a flying enemy, you have someone throwing something, and you have someone jumping around on the ground. And it's almost guaranteed damage. But bent glass tube does seem like he's going to go back to the hammer spot. Not the worst thing in the world. It all depends on what item he finds, and he got there relatively quickly, so good note-taking on his behalf, but only 1 life left. Or no, he has got 2 life left. Alright. He's fine. But this Dyra on the second screen here, man, this is the make-or-break moment. He's got to get out of there with at least not losing this life. I'm sure that's what he's hoping for as well. Maybe lure him over to the stairs and then jump over him. Making sure to let go of the D-pad because it reads your inputs. And there he is. Now he's just gonna power through. Which seems like it's a bad choice, but maybe he can pin him. Okay, he trapped him there. Ruraru, we're seeing on UndeadFil's side of the screen. It's a free spell, as long as you meet the girl's father. And it's fairy. So one of the things, and I'm not going to pretend to really understand this, but one of the rules of the randomizer is you're guaranteed to have fairy or the magic key, I believe it is, before you get to Palace 1. It's one of the requirements. So fairy or the magic key, I believe, based on that, has to be accessible in any of the towns or items you can get to. And that's something Dig's going to have to explain to me a little bit better, but that's the wording of it. The medicine Water of Life was on Death Mountain. Bent glass tube grabs it, he up A's, and he's going to possibly find it to deliver. And we don't have Thunder, and we don't have the Reflect spell, so Death Mountain could be required if the item in if the spell in Mido is in fact one of those 2 required spells to beat the game. So that's a player 1 medicine get. I'll mark it. Alright, here's our last town. There's Mido. He has fairy. He's not going to get downstab? Okay, he is now going to get downstab. Alright. 43, it looked like it cost fairy. That is under 3 magic containers, which is pretty good. Pretty good for magic, too. And here it is. Oh, he cast the wrong spell. Oh, he cast jump. He has jump. My bad. I'm fixated on the last item he got that I forgot the first item. First spell he got. He'll grab the downstab. And we have fire. And I believe this has to be in... was that Mido? Yeah. They're both in the same town, and unfortunately all that time in Death Mountain was invalidated because he got fire. Heartbreaking. Well, it's the back end of Jump Cave right there, so Jump Cave doesn't lead to anywhere unique. We've seen both sides of it. Fairy Cave and Candle Cave, I don't think we've seen either side of either one of them. Still a chance. Palace 2 is probably here. Yeah, Palace 2 UndeadFil fine. So none of the palaces are really hidden behind anything. And we've seen all the towns. So any of the caves are relatively useless as well. Seems like we're able to get everywhere, do everything. Don't have to find the other side of Death Mountain because we know the hammer spot, the hammer cave, and the spectacle rock are accessible within means of the one entrance we've seen so far. The only thing is the trophy cave and the heart container cave. We have not located either of them. Actually, we just located the heart container cave as I was reviewing my notes, and bent glass tube took the item out of there, which is not a heart container or a magic container. I have no idea what it is. Oh, it's the flute? Oh, I can't read his notes. I might have to pull him up full screen. UndeadFil is pumping his fist here. So that... so I missed the same item, again, on a different screen. It is actually a useful item. Is it the magic key? I think it was the magic key. I'm trying to look at his notes. Oh, thank you very much, CF. It is, in fact, the magic key. Both players have it. Early magic key can work wonders. If anybody saw the race I was involved in last night, one player found it, and one player didn't. And guess didn't early on. And guess who won the race? Because key blockage was a huge thing. Not me. So if anyone knows, early magic key can really work wonders here. Both players have it, so it's kind of the convenience of it is kind of nullified. But at the same time, you can't. Neither of them know the other player has it. So and the fact that they'll just be able to move faster in general, regardless if other player has it or not, is still good. We see the front side of Fairy Cave, and we see the business end of Saria. It looks like bentglasstube is going to go show the note he just picked up. Cross the bridge and get to it. I don't believe. No, I believe they did. I believe they both got jump. No, they didn't. I think this is the first time bentglasstube is in Saria. You're gonna see the other end of Fairy Cave here. It's gonna drop him right out by I think that's Palace 1. UndeadFil is gonna take the 2 or 3 screens back to the other side. And continue his exploration over there. I don't know what he was looking for. Probably the trophy cave, because I think UndeadFil has seen everything. He might not have found Death Mountain. But there's the jump spell for bentglasstube. Bentglasstube has not found Ruraru. There's the other side of front side of Candle Cave. So he doesn't take that through. That's the only place we don't know where it comes out to. Or the other side of Death Mountain. I don't believe we've seen either. Palace 2 time for UndeadFil. You have the key. You have the magic key. Did I not click the key for UndeadFil? I thought I meant to. I clicked the kid because kid and key look exactly similar to me when I'm looking at it on a Nokia flip phone. So there you go. I fixed it. And I believe bentglasstube has the flute as well. So we'll mark that down. Both players have the key. Both players have the flute. The horror container, the magic container. So both players only are missing out on the trophy, while bentglasstube got the medicine in Death Mountain, which turned into the fire spell. It's a little bit of the recap so far at a 21-minute mark. UndeadFil takes a death in Palace 2. I have not noticed. He hasn't been going left, but he might not have had the opportunity to go left. Hopefully I didn't miss him taking the item. Key is not the issue, so you might as well just keep going. Doesn't look like he cares to fight anything anymore because he's at the required experience to place a gem. Any more fighting here on UndeadFil's part, especially if you find things that give you 100, 150 XP, it leaves you in that situation. Well, do I take attack 4 now and then take whatever the gem gives me, or take attack 4 and then grind to take attack 5? Sometimes decisions like that can slow you down, and not fighting enemies and just moving on is definitely a heck of a lot faster. If he takes attack 4 here, there's still 4 more gems he's placing somewhere. Aside from all the levels he would get elsewhere. With P bags on the Eastern Continent, and then just fighting in general. So it's tricky. It's a micromanagement thing, part of the randomizer. Knowing what to take, when to take it, and when to push your luck and grind, or press your luck and just take what's given to you. Should be Ruraru on bentglasstube's side. This will be nice. He'll get fairy. He'll be happy with that. At the 22-minute mark, I have not seen him dip into any palaces. Or if he did, he just flashed inside really quick and left really quick. So maybe with the fairy, he'll decide to venture into one and then find the raft. There's the fairy spell. So both players have fairy, both players have jump, and then he's the only one that has fire. We don't know where the trophy is. The trophy could be in the trophy cave, or the trophy can be in Spectacle Rock right now. Those are the only two places where it could possibly be, because it has to be in Death Mountain or the Western Continent. The medicine was in Death Mountain, so that means the kid is on the Eastern Continent. UndeadFil takes the game over in Palace 2. He's going to try again. He has the knowledge of where to go now. I think it seemed pretty linear. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention now to the progression. It seemed like you could really only go right until you got to that elevator. But this shield, this bubble, man, every single time it's just on a direct path for his head. And two things on the screen at one time. I get into this problem. Trying to dodge one and then you're missing the other. So just bubbles alone have decreased UndeadFil's health by 80%. No life spell. And takes an unfortunate death there too. See what it is now, and again, the whole thing of not fighting enemies might have been him as well, because if he fought enemies, he might have been able to take attack 4, especially with those red nut knuckles giving you 200 experience. He takes life 4 because he's hemorrhaging health in every room. I don't blame him. But if he takes that attack 4, if he fights these enemies, there certainly was enough of these red nut knuckles to take attack 4. That game over wouldn't have been so harsh. Losing all that experience and needing to grind up to that level anyway. And not only the fact that he'd be able to place the gem and take attack 5 as well. But he's gonna take life 4. We got life 3. We got attack 3 on bentglasstube's side, and magic 2, which will help cast fairy. He doesn't need to cast fairy that much though, honestly, because he has the magic key. But he keeps getting into these desert encounters, and he's finally just had enough of it. Let's up A. Maybe go in a different direction. I'm not entirely sure which directions he's gone in. He might have not have gone right from start, and there he goes now. Although there is a town there, and I think the only town he hasn't found is Rudo. No, Rudo's right at start. UndeadFil is on his last life in a Palace 2. But he is at Helmet Head. I did see that. Doesn't know what the item is. Was not glove blocked out of Palace 2. But still a chance that the glove is in Palace 2. He just can't get on top of the hitbox for the... Let me see if he goes a little safer now. Oh, no, that's unfortunate. Another game over in Palace 2 for UndeadFil. He'll get back to Helmet Head. He'll try again. And again, now taking life 4 that time actually benefited him a little bit, because at least he got something out of that game over. Now he can get the experience all over again, and then possibly take a magic 3 or bank it for attack 4. The raft up on the left side of your screen for bentglasstube. So both players have that now. So the 27-minute mark, the restreamer realizes that he doesn't have soothing music in the background. Just lean back and let me drill this cavity and fill it for you. Horsehead, bentglasstube side. He's got the raft. He's going to be able to place a gem. He is not in position here to take attack 4. In fact, the most experienced horse I can give you is 100, and he gives you 70, which is the second most. So he's at that 97 out of 300 mark. He looks like he's going to go back and grind a little bit. And he's doing the Larry Shuffle, Angry Larry Shuffle. He doesn't know what to do. Do I get the experience? Do I place the gem? Do I jump over the gem? We'll see what he does. And he jumps over the gem. I can't say it's the worst choice in the world. But now he's got to, well, okay, I would say go back in, get all the experience you can out of there, and then place the gem. But he's going to go grind a little bit. These desert encounters, these gorillas only give him 5. UndeadFil's on his last hit here for this life. See what he does. And he does it. Now just avoid the helmets. There we go. So UndeadFil is going to place this. Breathes a sigh of relief. And he's going to take 1140 is attack 3. It's attack 3. But again, he was only 150 away from that naturally. So hindsight, maybe he should have went for that the first time instead of trying to skip all the enemies, and then it's just now in a situation he's there now, so now he just has to take it. 4 palaces left though, so still plenty of XP to gain, and now he's going to go to the Eastern Continent, not going to Palace 3 with no glove. Plenty of 500 point P bags on this side. Underutilized strategy by most. You can gain crazy levels on this side if you get there in a position to necessitate them. So he's going to attack this lizard, who was seemingly minding his own business, but now he's a little upset. He's going to go through the cave? No, he's not going to go through the cave. I was going to say, this cave does pass through to another side, but he didn't fully explore this area. And in fact, he has to go through that cave, because this is the second race in a row we've seen, or I've called, where we've seen a very basic, small area in the Eastern Continent, and then needing to take a cave to go through. But Darunia is on this side. He does not have the kid, but he's going to get the upstabs. And he messes up the fairy claws, so he's going to grab some more health and go back and do it right this time. So here's what you want to do: is you want to crouch when you cast fairy. And my reasoning for this, my understanding of this is it kind of lowers Link's hitbox, I guess technically, for simplicity is what you call it, so that when you cast it when you crouch, it lowers whatever it is. So when he's up on the chimney, it hits that zone under the chimney to bring him into the house. Whereas if you just cast fairy regularly, it may shrink your hitbox a little bit, and you'll never touch that zone. It's the same reason why when you jump and cast fairy, you can't go through doors, because technically you're on a higher plane when the fairy triggers, and you're not in front of the door, you're like above it or towards the top of it. The shame fairy, and I never knew it was called that, by the way, and I've heard like 18 people in a row say that. bentglasstube is gonna take it. No shame in it. He's gonna take. Okay. He was in a position to place this gem in 1, and then those bagus or bagos were stealing XP from him, and it almost didn't happen, but he got a fortunate P bag drop, and now he can place the gem in Palace 1 and move on. Did we not see the item in Palace 2? Did UndeadFil not backtrack to get it, or did he get it and I missed it? It wasn't a heart container, it wasn't a magic container, that's for sure. I don't think it was the glove, because he wouldn't have gone to 3. We may not have seen it. He may not even have tried. We'll see if UndeadFil, if bentglasstube decides to go for it. And I have no reason why he wouldn't. Palace 2 is relatively short compared to all the other palaces, and it's in an opposite direction with not many dead ends. I think only the key room is a dead end to the left. So if you can find a path to the left, well, that's excluding elevators, you can go up and down. But if you can find a path to the left, you almost certainly will be finding the item in 2. curious about this eastern continent here, though. Find the water tile. So on the eastern continent, the things we're looking for is we're looking for a desert tile that contains an item, and I think there's 4 or 5 desert tiles. The water tile that contains an item that is obviously boots are required for it. We're looking for Maze Island. Maze Island contains Palace 4, along with 2 spots on the path that will lead you to items. The town of New Kasuto has 2 items in it. One's hidden behind some sort of magic container requirement. Anywhere between 5 and 7 magic containers are required to get an item there. The other one's hidden behind the spell. And of course, every town has a spell. The only town that has a requirement on the spell is Darunia, which is a town we've seen just before. You need to have the kid to get the magic, the spell in that town. Palace 5 and 6 are just on the overworld in the eastern continent, along with the entrance to the Valley of Death, which will be a river of lava that leads to the Great Palace, or Palace 7. Downstamp for bentglasstube, he's got to feel relieved he has that. And he's going to make his way into 2 here. And up A, refill his health, refill his magic, refill his number of lives. At the cost of all the experience points you had. I'm going to pay attention here. I'm going to see if he gets the item. UndeadFil is trying to do the fairy feet trick in the Tim the Toolman Taylor's backyard with Wilson. Very angry at him for borrowing and breaking his lawnmower by trying to soup it up. Throwing conch shells from the Solomon Islands that he got on a recent trip to Adam. That is actually, I think that's actually a plot from Home Improvement Season 5. I'm not entirely sure, though. It's been a while. So, as we remember, Palace 2 was a little linear to start. Lots of 200-point red nut knuckles, though, on the way. He reaches the elevator. He'll go down. Town of Nuboru, or Thirsty Broad Town, UndeadFil finds himself in. He'll steal the town's water, he'll give it to the woman, and he'll get a spell. At this point in time, he's hoping for Thunder. He's hoping for Reflect, I would think, with the consolation prize of Thunder being something he'd want to get. And we'll see what that is, and that reminds me to tick off the fairy for bentglasstube. And he gets Shield. So, not the best. Not useless, though. It's not fire. Death number 1 in Palace 2 for bentglasstube. Still on the path to the right, but finds another elevator. Let's see where he goes. He has a choice here. He is going to go to the left. He is going to go item searching, and I don't blame him. The glove, the hammer, the boots can all be useful. Glove especially. There's our Road Devil and a desert tile in the Eastern Continent for UndeadFil. Another 500-point P-bag. So what does he do here? He's going to bank it. He's 30 XP to the next level. And he takes a death there. 2 lives left. If you can find those P-bags in succession, they're an attack level waiting to happen. Okay, magic container in 2. bentglasstube gets that. He's in a bad spot there in between 2 nut knuckles, giving them business. He's not even going to worry about fighting them, but the magic container find is pretty good. Like I said before, the town of New Kasuto has the requirement for magic containers between 5 and 7. He now has 6. So if you want to play the odds, it's 66.6 repeating, of course, % chance that he can get the item at a New Kasuto. Both players have the flute, so the River Devil is not a factor. And there's a town just on the other side. So again, maybe not required. Maybe one of the caves leads here, but certainly easier to blow the flute and cross and find something like Kasuto just right there, the abandoned town of Kasuto, with a spell that is life. So life in Kasuto, it was shield in Nuboru, which leaves 3 places left for spells, meaning that either the kid and or the trophy, could be both, are blocking required spells here, because the spell is out there as well, and there's only 3 towns left to find the last 3 spells in, obviously. Captain Obvious. There's another P-Bag, only 200 at that time. He's debating it, but he's going to bank it. Looks like he needs 610 more experience points. It's a 500 P-Bag away with a lizard kill as well. I know chat, I always get chat riled up because I'll be in this situation where I'll just up A and lose all that XP. But sometimes you have to. 7 magic containers required. UndeadFil is not happy about that. Being that he already passed one up in Palace 2, that means he has to find every single one now to get that item. It's quite the conundrum. But here's a spell. This could be a required spell. Let's see what it is. It is Thunder. So Thunder has no requirement behind it, but Reflect is going to need the trophy, which is either in the trophy cave we never found, or under Spectacle Rock, and therefore need the hammer as well. Or it's going to be blocked by the kid. Now, we have a heck of a situation here if you want to be the pessimistic of all Zelda 2 randomizer fans, where you have a situation where, and let me pause for a second to think about this. You have a situation where you need to get all 7 magic containers to get the boots, to get the hammer, to get the trophy, to get Reflect. That's crazy. And that's very much possible right now. Seven magic containers for the boots, hammer in the water tile, trophy under Spectacle Rock, and then trophy is your Reflect. Pack a lunch if that's the case, because this may get crazy. But of course, 7 magic containers could also be, I don't know, the 8th magic container. Helmet head time on bentglasstube's side of things. This will even things up. 2 gems apiece. UndeadFil is winning the exploration war and spell war, and we'll know that if I update things here. He's got fairy, he's got thunder, he's got shield. No one has. He has life. Okay. I don't remember where life was though. I don't think I wrote that down. Yes, I did. The old abandoned town of Kasuto. Meanwhile, it's just fairy, jump, and fire for bentglasstube because he's not been on the eastern continent yet. But now maybe he will. Without the glove, he may forego Palace 2 and may jump right onto the eastern continent here, hoping to gain some levels, hoping to do some things. Need the child to get the 7th magic container, to get spell, to get the 7th magic container, to get the boots, to get the hammer, to get the trophy, to get Reflect. That's at the risk of a lot of dead air. That's exactly the situation I was going for. I hope you have a lunch, Scorpion, because if that's the case, and how many of us are not rooting for that, by the way, to be cynical and just see what happens, but at the same time, as a player, I may not wish that for them. I may wish that the kid is on Maze Island and Reflect is right there. nothing additional blocking it. But as a viewer, I may want those situations to occur for sure. UndeadFil is happy because he got into Darunia. I'm not entirely sure why. Oh, because to refill health. That's why he's so excited. I was gonna say I don't think I saw him get the kid. but he's going to refill all the things, not take a life, not lose all that XP, I guess was the most important part of that. We have Rudo, again, on, and I mean Mito, and I think this is just a health fill as well, because we know he had the medicine, and it was fire, so... He had the kid. Where was the kid? Oh, there's Reflect. Where was the kid? Desert Tile? I kind of missed that watching bentglasstube, I think. We're going to say that's the Desert Tile because I don't think I've seen anything else that he can get to. New Casino, he can't get to either item. The water spot, he can't get to either item. I don't think I've seen him go into Maze Island because he'd still be there. So I'm going to say the desert spot was the kid and we missed it. Oh, he's Reflect. Yeah, there goes our dream. Our dream of the most complicated seed ever, certainly for this tournament at least, is dead. Bentglasstube takes the encounter on top of the desert tile. That's always the worst. You try to just get in there and then all of a sudden you take the encounter. Little slap in the face, gets the red jar. He's going to cast Jump, which is good, because UndeadFil did not do this, and it's 500 point P-Bag. And 500 point P-Bag for UndeadFil would mean attack 5 at this point. Assuming he didn't game over anywhere between. I don't think he did, though. Because I don't think he came back to the Eastern Continent. I think he's just been here. Bentglasstube is going to take that cave, get to the other side. Now we have further exploration here. We've seen the water tile. And we've seen the kid, obviously, in the desert. We're looking for Maze Island. We're looking for Palace 5. We're looking for Palace 6. We haven't seen either of them. UndeadFil gets the skip on Tim the Toolman Taylor's backyard. And gets to Maze Island and finds a palace as well. It's either 5 or 6. It doesn't matter at this point. Especially with Maze Island there. Right in front of his face, there's 2 items on Maze Island. He's going to check. Maybe he's looking for a red jar. He's definitely looking for a red jar. Oh man, don't lose all this experience. He's good. So it's 6. Oh, he up-A'd. He lost all that experience. He just decided I don't need it. And this is a situation that gets my chat triggered, like I said before, and now I can see why. He didn't need much. It was Palace 6. I mean, he could have maybe summoned 1 or 2 red nut knuckles and then got that or at least 3 or 4, and got that level. Attack 5, and then up-A'd. Certainly he was on his last life. It was tricky. You find Maze Island, you don't want to just go there in 1 life and then start over in the North Palace. And there's a quick death right there, and it just goes to show you how that can happen. It's questionable. It's not the wrong play. I may have done the same thing if that was Palace 5. But we'll see how his levels tend to even out once he enters the Great Palace. It's all speculation. Leveling is all speculation until they get into the palace, the Great Palace, and then you can second guess some choices they made, depending on how they play with and survivability inside of it. So what UndeadFil here is doing is he's looking for 2 encounter tiles within Maze Island that will drop him. And when he sees that animation of Link falling with the epileptic background, he realizes that he'll be in his spot with an item. Everything else is just encounters like this that pass you over to the other side. Most of them are easily handled with downstab, but they can be tricky as well. Bentglasstube is going to go for the skip here. Takes a couple rocks to the face and gets it, and he's in basically the same area. If he decides to go right here through the swamp, and most players, many players may not, because the swamp is dangerous, he'll see Maze Island, and he did. Boots are in the kid spot of Maze Island. So UndeadFil has that. He also has Reflect. So we'll We'll click all the things. Boots and reflect. Boots allow you to walk on any water tile, including that water tile spot, especially that water tile spot with an item. Any water tile within bounds, which also includes water tiles in Death Mountain that are within the border of the map. And the water tiles in Maze Island, which can make skipping encounters like this very easy. You just go back the other way, you go back around, you go on the river, you go down, just like he did. I love having the boots in Maze Island. We got both players there now. We'll see if UndeadFil can find the second one, or maybe the bentglasstube can find the second one first. See how that plays out. Both of them are at 720. 720 must be like magic 4. Bentglasstube is 534. I think 434 for bentglasstube. Glove. Look at that. Glove and boots on Maze Island. It was a great Maze Island for UndeadFil. UndeadFil is he looks a little happy here. He realizes he went the wrong way out of the encounter, and it was a slap on the forehead. We might want to highlight that. I don't have it under restream though, but he definitely smacked his forehead. Recapping UndeadFil's spells, he has everything but fire. Fire was Water of Life required. Water of Life was in Death Mountain. So bentglasstube went into Death Mountain, spent a great deal of time, even took a game over in Death Mountain, all for the Water of Life medicine, and it turned into the fire spell. UndeadFil never even cared to go into there, but then he sort of benefited. Process of elimination. He knows that either the trophy, or he knows that the medicine is. Did we get the trophy? Hold on. No, we didn't get the trophy. Trophy is the spell. So he has everything but the fire and spell. Spell is in Rudo, and fire is in Mito. Fire is not a required spell. No. Not with these flags. With flags soon to come, yeah, they're definitely required. It's funny because I think, we always relate fire to being the book of the Zelda 2 randomizer, if comparing it to the Zelda 1 randomizer. But I think more and more people are finding a way to make use of it to make their lives easier than laughing at it now. It's still laughable, but there are uses for it that include maybe hitting a rope in the Great Palace. And this is if all things can take damage from it. I have no reason to think they don't. Magic container in 4. For UndeadFil. Just make Darklink sword immune, yeah. Make it. Why not? There's only a few required items in this game as compared to other randomizer games. Why not? You can't go into Great Palace unless you have thunder and fire. That's a great idea. So there's the glove. I can't see bentglasstube. He doesn't have a webcam up, but I'm sure he's jumping up and down right now for finding it. Puts him in a situation where now he can just go. And it looks like he's going to head into... I think that's Palace 3, though. I don't think that's 2. Bentglasstube. Oh, yeah, of course it's 3. He needs 3. He doesn't need 2. UndeadFil is going to kill that Doom Knocker for 100 XP. Find a dead end. He's going to go right back. Continue exploration. Both players are in Palace 4. UndeadFil is almost dead. He does use life. The other race must have been done because Digshake is now hosting the stream. And welcome everybody. I'll give you guys an item recap in a little bit. Settle down. Have yourself some lunch. Both players in Palace 4. Fairly even. Bentglasstube takes a death there. Falls in the lava, and one of the most miserable brutally miserable, and this is 5. He's in 5. UndeadFil's in 4, I believe. It's one of the most miserable rooms in existence, where you have to jump on that small ledge to fight the rope. So hard. He takes 2 deaths there. UndeadFil died as well. I just didn't realize where it is. We were talking about this last night because bentglasstube joined me on the race commentary. We both agree that this room is just balls, and he takes 3 deaths in the same room and has to up A to avoid the Return of Ganon screen. Saved a few frames, but probably got a few gray hairs because of it. Carrick fight on UndeadFil's side. Basic strats, just go to the right. Just sit down. We can't all be V. Resner and then just run all over the place. We can try, though. It's fun. It's certainly fun to fight him that way. UndeadFil. Attack 5 here. Another questionable situation here. He wasn't that far away from attack 5 naturally, but in fairness of time, just take it. My suggestion would be move on. This is not like Palace 1 or Palace 2. Levels are higher here, so just take it. Because if you take it and then you decide to take Magic 4 or Life 5 thereafter, you're going to make it a little bit difficult for yourself to reach your goals in the later palaces. And he's only got 3 of them left, so P2, P4, there we go. P2, P4. He also got the kid. We'll do that. I think everyone's up to date on everything. bentglasstube is pretty far, like, being only 1 gem down, he is a little bit behind. A little bit behind. He had the gateway item, if you're referring to the spell items being gateway items. Yeah, he had the kid. That's my mistake for not marking it. I never saw him pick it up. I saw him cash it in. So he's going to walk out of Maze Island. Good point. It's a good call. It's a long way from start to get to where these guys are in the overworld on the Eastern Continent. To get to the raft spot, to get to the Eastern Continent, to pass through a cave to get to this area. You got to pass through the River Devil. It's certainly the best way to do it. Quite a few encounters, though. The river spot doesn't make it easy in Maze Island to bypass a lot of stuff. It's very exclusive to the other area. bentglasstube is at Rebenak. He has the down thrust strats down, though. Rebenak is cooperating, and he's going to do it. His experience is not where he wants it to be. He doesn't care. See what he does. I don't think he's going to... Oh, he does care. All right. He does care. He may only need 220 more. To get to that level of attack 6. Let's see what he does. He's going to try to get into the hitbox there, in the hurt box. Gets to 200, needs 20 more. Maybe he can find some polar bears or something and get it relatively quick. UndeadFil's going to up A here in 6. See what the reasoning of that was. Maybe he went to a dead end. Or lost a life a little bit too close to start and just wanted to start over. I think he lost a life in this room or just was hurt enough in that room to start over. bentglasstube's in his favorite room from the other side this time. Certainly easier to navigate this way than it was the other way, it looks like, for him. UndeadFil nails the fairy on his way down to get through, only to need the fairy again. So he's seen both fairy spots here, back to back. He found the polar bears, did bentglasstube. They're only giving him 3. It would probably take him about 27 of those polar bears to get the required XP, but he's got a blue nut knuckle there. Not the easiest to fight, but certainly if he kills him, it's 200 XP. And he is at the disadvantage of not having any spell, or at least a life spell or a shield spell to aid him in this fight. It's a little tricky. See what he does now. He's going to jump over him, see what's on the other side. Last life. Maybe the rope will give him 50. Rope gives him 30. He is 8 away. I would go to the other side and fight polar bears now, and looks like he is going to do that. 100-point red nut knuckle for UndeadFil. Still progressing here, still making his way, trying to find Barba. It's a dead-end room, so he's going to have to go left. Not entirely a useless dead-end room, especially if you land on the top and the statue cooperates and gives you a red potion. Or cooperates when you need experience and gives you a red nut knuckle. Again, finding a dead end after a drop. He's going to up A. He's going to go a different way. This is the second up A that we've seen him do. He might have entered that room from the left side, so he knows it got him pretty far from where he wants to be. And maybe there's another path. There's a path to the left here. Okay, he does take it. Not a path I like to take because those jumps cost me a lot of time. But hey, listen, he gets the elevator. He gets into another drop here. This might bring him above the collapsible bridge with the flying unicorn heads. Oh no, just brings him right here. Somewhere I believe he's been before? No. Oh, he hasn't been left. Okay. Bentglasstube is finally in a position to place the gem in Palace 3. So P1, P3. There we go. And now he's finally officially ready to move on to the Eastern Continent. The only thing lingering in his mind from the West is, does he need to find the trophy to get Reflect or Thunder? And we know that's not the case. For those joining us here, it is an hour into the seed. I will give a little bit of a recap from what you see on the screen, which is mostly correct. I believe I have everything updated. UndeadFil has all the spells, except for the spell, which is hidden behind the trophy in Rudo. Trophy is going to be in the trophy spot on the Western Continent, or Spectral Rock on Death Mountain. Bentglasstube only has the fairy spell, and he's barely been on the Eastern Continent, so he's got fairy, jump, and fire. Fire was the spell in Mido, which was locked behind the Medicine of Life, which Bentglasstube found in the Hammer Cave in Death Mountain. Your item in level 1, Palace 1, was the raft. Both players have it. And then there's a magic container in Palace 2. There's a magic container in Palace 4. New Kasuto is the items blocked behind 7 magic containers. And the spell, like I said, to get the other item is blocked behind the trophy, which no player had. The gloves and the boots were on Maze Island. The kid was in the desert tile on the Eastern Continent, which led to Reflect. Thunder was in New Kasuto. And I guess the magic key was in the heart container spot on the Western Continent, and the flute was in the medicine spot on the Western Continent. Everything else has been heart containers or magic containers. So while both players have 3 gems, and UndeadFil might be on his way to a 4th here in a few rooms, UndeadFil is definitely winning the navigational war, knowing he doesn't have to do much now except for place gems. UndeadFil going into the room that is like second worst in the game. It's almost similar to the other room. that's in 5. I believe this is 6. Yeah, it definitely is 6 because he has Barba. See what he takes. He has all of his lives left. He has a good life level. Decent attack level, I guess. And you can see Barba has barely any health. 1 hit and he took 2 bars of damage. But he definitely jumps into the hitbox. The water tile. We find the water tile. Let's see what it is. Could be the cross or the... Well, it's a heart container. At this point in time, not what bentglasstube really wanted to see. But he doesn't know what he wants to see. He wants to find the kid. UndeadFil gets knocked into the drink. He'll go with round 2 right now. Valley of Death Discovery on bentglasstube side. I don't know if we've seen that from... I don't know if UndeadFil knows where that is or not. It was in a pretty tricky spot. You had to kind of, you know, maybe you thought that that was going to be a dead end above the swamp. UndeadFil gets into the hurt box a little bit there. Takes his time. Doesn't jump over at the risk of getting hit again. A couple more hits and he's dead. He's just got to cooperate. Come up the right path there. Trolling him a little bit, staying on the first side. One of the things I don't know, I'll admit to not knowing, is if you can manipulate Barba. I heard that if you run straight into the palace, you could get him to spawn in that third pit. But thereafter, I really don't know if you can get him to pop up or if it's just RNG. All right, he's in a position to get attack 6 and place the gem in Palace 6, taking the 4 to 3 gem lead. Trying to look at his splits here. There's a lot of gold splits happening for UndeadFil. With his base time being 2:15, I gotta imagine that that's an average time for him. bentglasstube doesn't have any kind of notification whether splits are good or not, or comparing it to anything. bentglasstube obviously has the boots. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, because he got the boots and the glove. I didn't see him get it, but I saw him get the glove. Because he was in Maze Island, and he didn't have Reflect, so he didn't go into Palace 4. Did spend a lot of time in 5. Finds a dead end room. I think this is 6 he's in now. Yeah, it is. I think 5 was a gray palette with a little bit of a red wall in the background. Yeah, UndeadFil at this point, you gotta think he's just gonna motor on. There's no reason for him to get the hammer. There's no reason for him to find the trophy, the medicine of life. Cross is more of a convenience than anything. And the only thing is, does he want to find a couple heart containers and magic containers along the way if he can stumble upon them in palaces? That's basically it at this point. While bentglasstube is frantically, well, he's not frantically because he's not even doing it, but he should be frantically searching for the spells that he needs to complete the game. But I get the need to feel like you're progressing. The palaces are there. Let's just go do them. Gets that dead end though in the left key room, or it may not even be a key room on that screen. get caught up on feeling like you need to progress instead of searching because you felt like you spent too much time searching, and then what happens is you're going to have to search anyway eventually. Good news is he just has to discover New Kasuto to get Thunder. And the kid should be something that he can just stumble upon in the desert spot to get Reflect. And life is in the hidden town of Kasuto. So those 3 towns right there, along with Thirsty Boar Town and Boru, is the shield. Definitely good spells in the west, in the east here. But I don't believe he's been to any of the towns. But all of the palaces. Saved himself with Fairy, did bentglasstube just before. It was a good save. He's going to drop down a few. I think he wanted to land there and go left. Here, what's a loop? It's a loop and he up A's. UndeadFil looking for that Guma. Is he in 3? Did he go back to the west? We'll find out in a second. We had a situation where we possibly could have had, and I'm going to scroll up because Scorpion Max put this best. He put it a little bit like 1 stage worse than I did. We had a situation where they needed to find the kid to get the spell, to get the 7th magic container, to get the item in New Kasuto that could have been the boots, to get the hammer in the water spot, to get the trophy in Death Mountain, to get the Reflect spell in Rudo. But it just so happened that the kid just led to the spell and just eliminated all that nonsense in between, which would have been fun, honestly, to watch, but frustrating for our runners. This 6 looks very tricky, and even from what I saw on, that's the heart container in 5. Even what I saw on UndeadFil's side, it took him quite a bit and a couple up A's to even get to Barba. Let's see if bentglasstube can gain a little time on that by getting to him a little bit faster. It's going to take the 100 points from the Doom Knocker. Well, UndeadFil, all he wants to see is Guma. But he did go search for the item. Or just perhaps take a peek and just so happen to be there. Don't really know. It's a bad spot to be dodging a blue nut knuckle while the polar bears are shooting snowballs at you. Guaranteed damage the polar bears are, whatever room they're in. bentglasstube takes a couple drops, takes another drop, and winds up in the room he was in just before. So this is a pretty tough one. See if he jumps over this now. He tried to, and he missed. He's got to work his way back there. He either tried to and missed, or he just decided to jump into the pit. I can't really tell. Doesn't have fairy. He's going to take the death. Get the... He has no choice, really. Queued it up before he died. Now he's going to make his way to the other side. And then drop down the pit there again. There's a little dodging, a little juking, a little Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl action going on there. And he's going to drop from this fairy spot. Let's see what that brings him. Brings him here. Doom Knocker, key. He's going to kill the Doom Knocker. This is going to get him over the cliff for attack 7. No, he needs about 94 more. Is that? Well, now it's 98 more. UndeadFil is amazed on how far he's gone in this palace without seeing Guma. 200 point P-Bag. He's almost at that cliff as well. In fact, both players have near identical experience levels right now. 634, 644, and both of them are nearing the... Actually, UndeadFil has to go a little bit higher because he has a magic 4 to reach the point where you can take attack 7 at the gem. But there's not a lot to really say about this race. It's coming down to how fast can UndeadFil just get through the last couple palaces, and how fast can bentglasstube get those spells while doing the same. Six look long. It's proving to be long. And 5 doesn't look like it's any picnic either. And we've certainly seen races this week, even last night, where it's you go right one room and there's the boss. Red jar on the ground. I probably would have cast jump there before I took the red jar. Actually, I'm not. Who am I kidding? I would have downstabbed the red jar and fell in the lava. But hindsight, cast jump there, make it easy to navigate this room. You're still going to get full MP anyway. We have Barba? We don't have Barba. We have this room yet again. So bentglasstube is going to try to find a different way to get around. And take out that unicorn. Make it easier for himself to jump over these gaps. Let the spikes fall into the lava. You know, test out their durability first before they do. Taking a little damage, everything's fine. And we have Barba, and I'm not too sure how many lives left. This is his last life, and he's zombie Link, so he's got to take this nice and slow. He's got to make sure to jump over the fireballs, get out of the way. There we go. Don't be aggressive. Don't run into his hurt box. Just chill, just hang out, or you can just jump over the fire and jump over the pits and take the fight to him. That's all. Oh, there it is. Frustrating. Certainly took him a long time to get there. Let's hope he remembers how to do it. That's a disadvantage of going for it. Certainly it's a fight where you can just kind of stay on the platform, hit him once, jump over his fireball if it's in a danger spot, and you're just kind of, it's slow, it's methodical, but it's safe. But try to tell any runner to play slow and methodical is just not it's just not in their DNA. Guma fight for UndeadFil. This will give him 5 gems. He's in a position to take attack 7. I don't think he's going to utilize that XP to spread it out. I think he will take attack 7. There's one more gem left to place. Guma seems to have a ton of HP, or UndeadFil was whiffing a bunch in the beginning of this fight. He's trying to be slow, he's trying to be safe, he's trying to get into his hurt box and stab him a few times, but it's just not working out. He's getting knocked around here a little bit. A couple more hits here, maybe 2. There's 1, there's 2, and this should do it. Just gotta wait. Oh, he gets hit with the mace. Oh man. Not a game over. He's got one more try at it. We'll see if he does it this time. He was slow. He was patient. He was taking his time. But as we all know, and I think as Dick Shake may have even said last night, or this afternoon, this is a tough fight. I think Link Sevens went into this fight at like 3-2-2, maybe 4-2-2, and it's a tough fight. It might have been Josh D as well. My apologies. Yeah, Guma hit you. He's slow. He's awkward. He'll knock you around somehow. And that certainly happened there. One of the worst boss fights in this game, I think. All right, a couple more hits here. Can he cast life? All right, he's got a few mistakes he can make. But he's definitely looked like he was feeling the pressure there to get in there and get that last stab. And he's in a position to place the gem, and he's going to go 5-3 up gem-wise on bentglasstube. And we've said this before. and probably be saying it again in the tournament. You can never say never. You never know what's going to happen. But certainly at this point in time, UndeadFil is in the driver's seat. It's his race to lose. bentglasstube is making his way through 6, and unfortunately, based on what UndeadFil just did in 5, he's going to have a tough time in Palace 5 as well. It's not straightforward. Again, it's not you go right once and there he is. There's Guma. It looked a little complicated, or taking the right path-ish. If we're just going to make up words and phrases, that would be mine. Undead, I think most of bentglasstube's deaths have been in rooms like this. Lava pits, just stupid idiots as enemies, and that's pretty much it. Back to Palace 3 on the Western Continent. The last gem that UndeadFil needs to place, he finds polar bears and wakes up with a snowball right in the face because guaranteed damage. Backer Barber, I think he has 2 lives left though. Lucky for UndeadFil, he had the glove there because he got himself blocked in. Look at the RNG on those blocks. They only wanted to go on 3 columns. Very trolly. bentglasstube is being a little safer here this time. Waiting for him to do the fireball, jump over him, see if he can hit him twice. Not a bad thing. UndeadFil dies in the room similar to the one bentglasstube died in before. This is the room. This is the Jack League's jerky all-in moment. Just people dying in this room, or a room similar to this, jumping over, hitting the rope, falling backwards, stuff like that. But bentglasstube places his 4th gem, and he'll move on. He's got Palace 4, he's got Palace 5 left to do, but again, he's got to find all of the towns on this spot, and here's Nabaru, and unfortunately it's the worst of the 4 spell-wise. He'll get shield here. So while Fairy was good, and certainly he needed it looked like, in Palace 6, they found an early magic key. And shudder when I say that every single time. But his spells, man, they've been jump, they've been fairy, they've been fire, and now they're shield. Certainly he would probably like the other 4 much more than these 4. Especially at 1 hour and 20 minutes into the race. Here's Buzz Thunder's favorite building, that big warehouse in the back end of Nabaru. bentglasstube goes up to the Road Devil there, but doesn't blow the whistle. I think that's more because of the fact that that's where all the palaces in Maze Island were, and he recognized that more than its exploration. I take that back. The hidden town of Kasuto is just over that river devil. Basically on the other side. It's the first thing when you get there in the forest. And that's life. That's really not that essential. He may have life. I may have missed that. If anybody can see his spells when he pulls it up, please let me know. We'll find out in a second, I guess. There's a easy Rebenek fight. So UndeadFil has all of the palaces completed. He has Thunder. Great Palace is in his books, in the books right here. And again, working on UndeadFil's averages, I assume it's at 2 hours and 15 seconds. Every split he's had has been minus. In fact, right now, this split was minus 37 minutes compared to average. So he is cruising. He looks like he's having the run of his life right now. while bentglasstube was consumed with Death Mountain in the beginning. Took a game over, did some things, went back to Death Mountain, and it just it didn't pay off. It Medicine of Life and the Fire Spell. 745 is really bad, though. I don't think it's game breaking bad, but it's certainly something that you don't see. It's not a combination that I was even prepared for to even talk about. I don't have a clever quip for it, but yeah, I have nothing for it. It's the Geoforce GTX 745 strats, I guess. I don't know. I apologize, Dig Shake. I'll work on that for you. He's just going. He's just going. And to recap, everybody who was watching the other race earlier, who were not here in this the beginning of this race, UndeadFil did a little bit of questionable stuff with XP. I won't say it was wrong, and I'm not saying what I would have done would have been right, but at a few times he was pennies from another level, let's say, and he decided to place the gem instead of possibly turning the other way, defeating or jumping over the gem, coming back in the palace, defeating a few enemies, taking an attack level, and then defeating enemies back on the way to the gem, and be in a position where you can just get another attack level. bentglasstube is finding one of the guaranteed damage rooms, and he had to cast Fairy to save himself. See how this Great Palace treats UndeadFil. It's definitely a huge lead right now. 2 gems and 2 required spell lead, while bentglasstube has just even given up on the fact of finding spells at this point. He's just going to place all the gems and find everything later. That's not going to work for him. But I think at this point, even if he went back out of here and went and got the spells, unfortunately it's not that good for him. There's a Thunderbird. Easy to get to. I think did he drop? I think he dropped in one of the rooms with the blocks, if I recall. I was looking at the tracker. Thunderbird takes almost all of his magic. Can't tell if that's a color palette or if that's a spell he's got on. He got hit. It was 2 at life 5. It was 2 full bars, so I think he's got shield on. And he's on his last hit right here. Early Thunderbird. It's a question I like to ask a lot of the runners. It's your 745. Does it ever concern you in your mind that maybe you have to go back in and grind a little bit to not waste multiple game overs in a fight like this? And the answer everybody always comes up with is no, you stupid idiot. Learn how to play the game. But as we can see right there, he's gonna take a death there. He's got 2 more lives. Close enough to the start where if he does manage to kill Thunderbird on either of these lives, maybe an up A, get everything back, and then go forward again. You know the path. Couldn't have been that long. But he's whiffing a little bit, jumping a little bit too far away and not turning in time. We've all been there before. He's getting the pendulum though, which is good. Getting down at the lowest part, right on that platform. A little out of sync right now due to a hit and a miss and a dodge of a fireball, but he's getting it back on track now. Wonder if he's a player that would prefer the jump spell. It's one of those things like which side of the screen can you fairy feet from better, left or right? Jump or not jump strats on Thunderbird. Some players seem to have their opinion on which one they prefer. We have a Goomba fight, and Goomba looks so small on that screen for some reason. I guess his window is just smaller. He looked huge on UndeadFil's screen. No upstab and downstab does not work on Thunderbird. You just have to swing with the sword. The Panic Dolphin does work if you can get it up there and do it, but Thunderbird destroyed while bentglasstube places the gem in 5. Certainly a lot easier 5 it looked like than UndeadFil had. But he still has to go into 6 and to go to 4. And to go into 4 he's got to find Reflect. And to find Reflect he's got to find the kid. So I think at this point, no matter what UndeadFil does here, the throw of all throws would be required. This is not like missing a 40-plus yard field goal in Super Bowl 25. This is something that's, I don't think I can even compare it to, but UndeadFil was trapped between a bubble and a hard place there, and had to take that death. Power outages will probably even this race. I've contemplated saving a time or two, because especially after I've had a power outage during a friendly race, during an SRL friendly. Chat, please know. I know I mentioned it, but please know Scott Norwood jokes. They're not funny, especially the day after Super Bowl 25, when you go to school, humbled. We have the kid on bentglasstube side. This is going to mean the Reflect, and possibly get him on track for a you know, we're still an hour and a half out, an hour and a half into the race, so there's still respectable finishes to be had here. It's just UndeadFil is just killing it right now. Doesn't want to go left, but he's going to make the choice of which left he's going to take here, and he's going to opt to go right instead. No, go left here. Okay. Possibly back. Now, I didn't look. He's possibly backtracking to another area where he can drop, or he can go right. Oh, there's an elevator down here. He didn't go into the first time. So this room was the turning point in the Jackamus win earlier in the week, where Jackamus went down that elevator. Both players went down that elevator. Came right here, and a blue Fokker messed up Jackamus. Game overed, and he decided, no, you know what? I'm just not even going to go down there. I'm going to go across the other way. And a couple screens later, Dark Link. So, power outage would be a problem with stream and internet connectivity and stuff. I guess that can be hooked up to a power generator too. So never mind. ISP outage, I guess Vanky meant to say. So continuing on with our exploration here of the Great Palace, taking all the rights he can. The problem is there's a couple paths to the left, and we certainly know that just going right isn't all you need. Sometimes you do have to go left. I don't know if he got life bentglasstube, but at this point I guess it doesn't really matter. He's missing life, spell, and reflect, it looks like, according to his notes that I can partially see. So UndeadFil here, he might take a drop here, and anybody who plays this game knows that if you drop here, you can wind up behind Thunderbird. And Dark Link will always be after Thunderbird. So if this drops you in an unexplored area before you would naturally get the Thunderbird, this can cause quite some time and confusion, going through all the rooms trying to find Dark Link. So there's life now on bentglasstube side. So he's just looking for Darunia at this point. It's the only thing he wants to see. There's one of the unexplored lefts. He's going to take this one. The harder of the two, jumping over these lava pits, hoping there's not a rope that's just hanging out, and there is, but able to not let momentum carry him over to the lava below. What does he have there? He's going to take life 6. He's going to be a 7-4-6 now, which, again, pretty unprepared for. But it's nothing I can't remedy here. With a quick little thing. Yeah, it's the New Jersey Transit strats. There we go. We're gonna polish that up for next time. As it just rains acorns outside my window. What the heck was that? bentglasstube gets the fairy feet trick off in Tim the Toolman Taylor's backyard. Still looking around, looking for Darunia. I can't even say that I can help him out here. Was that an upstairs block? It could be if he gets into the right area. There's the room. You guys might be a little bit ahead of me. No, if you're watching me, you're watching exactly what I am. This could be an upstairs block. I'm not entirely sure how acceleration and all that works. Does he not have the magic to cast jump? It must be more than 16. It looked like it was. So a bunch of crooked numbers. Running low on health. He didn't up A after Thunderbird, so this may be a death here. He only may have one more. I don't think he got the one up. And I don't believe he died again either. So I think I would assume he has one more after this life. My search for Darunia continues on bentglasstube's side of the screen. Darunia versus Darklink right now. It's the most competitive thing we could match together. Who will find their objective goal first? bentglasstube is going to take a cave. UndeadFil does game over. He's got to start again. Just like the Jackamus seed, though, and race, this could be a blessing in disguise. That was a long path to get to where he was, to die. Maybe he just decides to take another path. bentglasstube wins that side bet, though, because here is Darunia. He's going to stop. He's going to get a little massage there. He's going to get some chicken soup from Grandma. And then he's going to go return the kid to the horrible person who lost him in the first place. There's our drop. Thunderbird is about a screen away, I think. I don't know. He didn't get upstab just now. I don't know if he got upstab before, though. So, if upstab is truly required, and again, I don't really know the dynamic with the acceleration stat and all that, where you can break blocks above you by just jumping up into them. Sometimes with jump, sometimes not with jump. And upstab is truly required. That's going to be a bad job. It's going to be a bad job. It's going to be a bad thing to experience if you're bentglasstube. He didn't upstab that guy in the vulnerable. There he goes. He just upstabbed something. He just upstabbed the air. So we know he has upstab. We're good. That room does require upstab. I guess you can't manipulate the blocks in any sort of pattern to properly always break the ones above you. Yes, Amal. We'll get that for you right now. We can just do this. We can copy this. We can go back to the chat and probably discover that Dick Shake already did it. Max just did it. Okay. Thanks, Scorpion. We're going. I don't know if he's going exactly the same way this time. He might have to go a few rooms, or maybe I missed it when I was copying the link. He may have to go a few rooms first before he gets to that decision of going over the lava pits opposite the ferry, or going up and then going left above that. So if you can break 1 above you without jump, 2 with jump, can you not manipulate the pattern of those blocks, weaving in and out, to do something similar? Break the first 2, break the block above you, jump, break the block above that, then break the 2 blocks to the left, then break the block above you. Or when you cast jump, can you not break the block above you? You can only break the 2 blocks above you. I'm trying to work that out in my head. I think based on that logic, you can get up there if you don't accidentally break any of the other blocks. Oh, no, there isn't space? Okay. It's going to take the ferry. He needs it. No shame in it. Never shame in it in the randomizer, I feel. It has to be 1 block over. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, I knew that. I was just saying, if anybody else didn't know that, I asked the question for them. Something that would rank in my top 5 least favorite boards that do not include snowball throwing polar bears would be this room that UndeadFil is in right now. It is an absolute required fairy room as far as I'm concerned, and he saves himself with fairy and then goes across. A lot of players like to find this room. They feel like they're really progressing and on their way to Dark Link. And we'll see if that's true. He falls down. He's going to go over. Oh, he gets Buzz Thundered. Speak of the devil. But just after he gets Buzz Thundered, he finds Dark Link. (746). It's the most unorthodox leveling pattern I've seen, but certainly it does not matter in the Dark Link fight. Just stab for days. That's all. As long as he doesn't jump on him 20 times. He should be alright. Bentglasstube is in Palace 4. A couple more hits here, and yeah, there you go. There's your winner of the match. Number 36 ranked, UndeadFil. And let's just put this in a little bit of perspective. 1 hour, 40 minutes on his timer. 34 minutes and 49 seconds faster than his average. What appears to be his average. Or his average was like 2:30. That might be compared against his personal best as well. Definitely a good game. It was a great job by him. See if we can get him on to relive the moment here. I gotta get into the channel. I let the earlier race have the channel, and I didn't bother because I was by myself to even do anything. But there we go. I'm in the race channel. I'm doing it up, and the invite for Discord. Mal, it's a random seed per game because everything's done at different times, and you don't want to know what the things are beforehand. There's no way to really, say that one person who runs later than the other never watched or practiced the seed before. So it's always done like at the same time that the race is being scheduled, or about to go off, I should say. So no one can vet the information or anything like that. But UndeadFil will be joining us in a second. I'm sorry if my screen just went away there for a little bit. Hopefully, you guys didn't see my Belle Biv DeVoe wallpaper and start to question me. But Bentglasstube is slowly making his way. Well, not slowly. He found Carrick. And again, at 1:42, it's not the worst thing in the world right now. The only worst feeling he has is the fact that he's seen that done. But yeah, here we go. UndeadFil is joining me now. He has his mic he's muted right now, so here he goes. Hello, congratulations,
Hello.
sir.
Hey, thank you.
Let me know, guys, if his audio is on par with everything else. But yeah, you had a tremendous seed. The first question I want to ask you is, based on your splits, was that on average or was that on personal best?
That was a personal best, actually. It was a really good sit for me. It was my personal best.
Yeah, you crushed that one. Take me through the moment that you, I guess, pretty much decided that you were going to start doing Palace 1, Palace 2, and then go to the Eastern Continent. Was there any concerns in your mind that maybe, since you didn't see the trophy or any magic required, and the magic was garbage over on the Western side, were you kind of like, maybe I have to do Death Mountain, but I'll go do the East first?
I was afraid the trophy might be on Death Mountain, or even worse, might be hammer blocked, since I never found the hammer anywhere in the seed. But I was extremely relieved to find the kid and find out that the kid was hiding. I think it was Reflect, and I found the Thunder pretty early on the Eastern Continent as well.
Yeah, there was some very negative people in chat, or maybe the guy commentating, that said you guys had a situation there that you could have been like multiple blocked just to get Reflect, needing a combination of the kid, the hammer, the boots, the whatever it may be. Glad for you that it wasn't that case. I'm sure it made for a better seed. Is there anything there that you feel like you did extremely well?
I feel like the exploration was pretty good, but I feel like combat is still my something I struggle with.
There were some
of the fights were pretty good, but a lot of generally combat was not my best.
There were some certain spots where you placed the gem where you could have gotten extra XP if you just kind of like doubled back a little bit, or maybe double levels if you double back a little bit.
But I was pretty confident that attack 7 would be sufficient to just beat the seed.
Yeah, obviously you proved that right there, but it was pretty good. You handled everything pretty well. I mean, so well that I don't even necessarily have any specific questions for you. I mean, going forward to your next match, I guess the best part would be, combat aside, did you do anything in this seed that maybe you think that you might want to improve on for your next race?
Yeah, I know I've been through one cave that was not necessary. I went through the fairy cave on the Western Continent. It was not necessary, just to check if it was leading to something, if it was a good shortcut, and it turned out that I never used it.
I think you even went back at that point when you found it. And when you found out it went nowhere, I think you went back to the other end, or you contemplated going back to the other end, and then I didn't see where it left you.
I don't remember. I think I went back. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was a very straightforward Western Continent. I don't think you guys saw Trophy Cave.
Nope, that's the only cave we didn't find. Pretty sure it was hidden behind a rock.
Oh, was there a boulder blocking a cave? I didn't see it. If it was guaranteed then. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, by the way, just to put things into perspective here, bentglasstube went into Death Mountain early, found the hammer cave, game overed.
Ouch.
Did some things, then decided to go back again. It was the medicine, the water of life, and that gave him the fire spell.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't go there.
Yeah, so it could have easily went in his favor if that was required for something better, like Reflect or Thunder, and then you're still in this part of the game right now, still playing.
I was afraid that was what was going to happen, but I'm glad. I always do Death Mountain last, and I'm glad I did this time.
Yeah, it most certainly worked out in your favor. I saw the look on your face a couple times. You're definitely you're definitely fun to watch on the webcam with your expressions and reactions to certain things. One of them was the eye roll when you saw that new Casino with 7 magic container requirements. And I think you I'm one of the deaths. I think you smack yourself in the forehead pretty hard. I just hope I hope you're okay with that.
All right.
All right, good. Hopefully you're because you are racing Jay Coper in the next round of the bonus bracket. So best of luck to you there, and great race.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.
See you later. All right, guys, that was UndeadFil, the winner of the race. We're going to stay with hour and 47 minutes. We're going to stay with bentglasstube. There's a couple things I want to ask him. Hopefully he's not in a terribly bad mood. It's the one thing that I would say I dislike about this tournament, or just the tournament setting, environment in general, is sometimes you gotta ask questions to the loser who may not necessarily be happy that he didn't get the magic key right away, or in this situation, the reflect spell. But he is on his way to completing the game sub 2 hours. He's got to take a death here to Thunderbird to get the magic to cast the thunder spell. He's got more heart containers. He's got better magic and life leveling than UndeadFil does at this point. He's doing some math in his head, realizing he can cast shield, do it right away. He'll cast thunder, and he should be able to cast reflect or jump here too. He doesn't look like he wants to do either of them. I did not see. He's got about like 38 MP right now, maybe like 36. See how he handles this fight. We talked last night. We did the race together last night, and the pendulum swing is definitely his preferred method. He likes it. Oh, he's going to save his magic for life. That's what he's going to do. Okay. He queued it up. He didn't necessarily need to. He was going pretty good. And there it is. T-Bird down. And now the search for Dark Link is underway. I don't remember exactly the path that UndeadFil went through to find them. I just know that there was a game over in the middle of it. And I think he went through the fairy cave again. In fact, I know he did because I put it on my fave 5 of boards I hate when he made the fairy save. And Dark Link didn't look too far beyond that. Break the tiles, fall down, go to the right. So yeah, UndeadFil just has a reaction to the 868 strats that I also don't have a name for some reason. You guys are making me very unprepared with your leveling when you enter the Great Palace or get to a final fight. But we'll see what happens. I think right was the correct way to go here. Gets a little kiss from that the super bubble. Possibly up here, and he's going to find the fairy. He's probably going to take the fairy. He's going to check to the right first. It's a dead end, I believe. The blocks in the wall. Oh no, it's not. It is a dead end, but it's not the room I was thinking of. He wants to get on the bottom side of that room. There's the fairy. He's going to take it. Let's see if he goes left. Left is the right play here, but just like UndeadFil did, it's not naturally, instinctively the right play. We just know this hindsight. He's going to go up. He's going to look. He's going to go up one more floor and see he can only go left. And he's going to take this left, and maybe he's going to see this room and just decide not to do it because we talked about it last night, that it is the worst room in the world. He's going to power through it. He'd rather do this room than the lava pit room. UndeadFil, I think, took a death in this room as well, getting knocked off the bridge, or he saved itself with fairy, because I think I made the comment about always fairy in that room. Oh no, this is absolutely the right way to go. Okay. It wasn't through that other room. It was through this room. Doesn't check for the jar. Oh, he doesn't get buzz thundered. That's always a good thing. Nobody wants to get buzz thundered. And here we go. Dark Link and bentglasstube is more than willing to fight him. I don't think he's on his last life. That's the only thing that concerns me. I didn't double check, but I don't remember death. I don't remember deaths. And he's almost done. And there it goes. So there you have it. Bentglasstube. We'll stop the timer. 152, oh, whatever. Based on it. He 152.08. UndeadFil 140.17. I should paste these in the chat here, so you guys can see. There's the one for him. Here's the one for bentglasstube, and we'll see. See if we can get him in here. Let's turn down the music. And we'll grab him. We'll grab him in here. And here he is. He's just got a little unmute. He'll get there eventually.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I think I have to turn you down a little bit. Hold on one second. Yeah, I mean, unfortunate you were on the losing side of that match. Sub 2 hours, though. At a position you were at late in that race, that almost looked like it was something that wasn't going to happen anywhere. Wasn't going to happen at all for you. What do you feel like your major mistakes were there in that match?
Well, looking at my splits, it looks like I took a long time to get started was the big thing. And then I think I spent a lot of time wandering around looking for towns when I got to East Hyrule. And that probably hurt a lot of back and forth because I didn't have Reflect and didn't really want to dive into 5 and 6 because I was kind of low level at that point.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, honestly, shocked at your early decisions, because we spent 2 hours last night talking about another race and what we think at certain points in time. You dove into Death Mountain very early.
Yeah, it was wide open, so I kind of went for it,
Right.
and then I found Hammer Cave really early, and that was kind of actually a bad thing because
Yeah.
Hammer Cave was not super useful.
No, and the fact that you took a game over in Hammer Cave before you even got to the item.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
and-
didn't even see what it was.
Yeah, and then you went back for it, and it was unfortunately basically the fire spell,
Yep.
which
It
turning
was
point in the
fire
game.
spell
Yeah.
plus a little bit of extra walking around, so even worse than playing fire.
That's true. I mean, when you kind of calmed down at that point though, and you started making a little bit of progression through Palace 1, Palace 2, getting a few of the items. When you got over to the Eastern Continent, you basically did 5 and 6 without even grabbing a spell on that side.
Yeah, I couldn't find the towns. I think I'd found Darunia or something, but didn't have the kid at that point.
Right.
So I was like, I have the glove, so I might as well just dig into 6, and I didn't need any more items, so that kind of made him faster because I didn't need to hunt around for anything. In fact, I think Palace 6 I flew through kind of.
Palace 6, I think that was the one you were in twice. No, Palace 5 was the one you were in twice. Or you left and then you came back. I think. Maybe not. Maybe I'm confusing palaces from watching both screens, up and down.
Yeah, I don't remember.
No, 6 was the difficult one. 5 was the one you flew through. Because 6 was kind of a complicated barba. And I think you took a couple game overs in there because of the stupid lava rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was the lava room with the fire rope, or not the fire rope, the regular rope that I was getting really flustered in there. I had to have some of my beer and calm down after that one.
Yeah, that was 3 in a row right there with that one guy, and I had all the sympathy in the world for you because, man, screw those rooms.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then I was really nervous going into Great Palace too, because I was close to getting life 8, and I was like, I won't reset, and I turned up only taking the one intentional death against Thunderbird. So that Great Palace I'm really happy with. I don't think I'll play that well again in Great Palace.
Yeah, and it was surprising because you got right to the right path after Thunderbird as well.
Yeah, I don't think I took any wrong turns there.
No,
at least not any long ones.
I think you had 3 options to go. Well, you had one option to go down in the room with the super bubble with the blocks. It's kind of like a tea room with an elevator in the middle.
Yeah.
And a couple rooms after, you had when you went up, you had the ferry. You could have went left there over the lava pit.
Yeah, I'm never gonna go left in that room. Like,
well, I'm surprised you didn't go left.
That'll be a long Great Palace for me because I hate that room.
I'm surprised you didn't go left in that room because the one above it that you did go left in, the one that was on the right path, was even worse.
That one was also terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a little hung up at the beginning of that room.
Yeah, it was guaranteed damage. But yeah, unfortunate that that you were on the losing side of that. It was probably. Let me just say this: UndeadFil played tremendously well. Few mistakes, found everything. It wasn't anything you particularly did. I mean, you feel like you wasted a little bit of time from what I asked you, but he played exceptional.
Death Mountain, that was that
was
a big waste of time to get fire.
It was.
Then, I felt pretty good about things, except for that I didn't have any of the spells I needed, and I was sure that when I got to Darunia with the kid, I was gonna get spell,
yeah,
and have to go find Trophy Cave, which I don't like. I thought I went in all the caves I saw, but I never. At least on my tracker, I don't have anything marked for Trophy Cave. So.
I never saw Trophy Cave, but from what UndeadFil is telling me, that there was a boulder blocking a cave, and that would absolutely make it so.
Saw that. So yeah, that would. I was really just dreading that because I didn't have the hammer, and I was like, I'm gonna have to go like look in Spectacle Rock or find the Trophy Cave.
Hammer might have been in Kasuto because no one found it.
Yeah.
Hammer, Cross, and then a couple heart containers or magic containers were not found, and no one found either item in Kasuto because of the stupid requirements.
Yeah, it was seven magic containers. I think I had 6 when I got there, but
yeah, you definitely had 6.
Obviously, I wasn't going to go back because I knew that it was nothing important there.
Yeah.
Well, certainly once I got Reflect, but
the only thing you would have probably gone back for is if you knew you needed the hammer to go back to the other side and then check it at that time. Certainly.
I would have been really irritated.
No, but let me tell you what, and I'm saying this to anybody who would listen. There was a possibility at one point before, just as you got to the Eastern Continent, based on the items that were left, that it was going to be like the kid blocking the 7th magic container, blocking the boots, blocking the hammer in the water tile, blocking the trophy, blocking Reflect. Like there was that 1% chance that we were having this golden seed that would have just required this amazing puzzle to figure out.
That would have been pretty funny.
Yeah, you guys wouldn't have even been in Palace 4.
2 hours.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been sub 2 hours. That's all. But unfortunately, you're gonna join me here on the couch.
Yeah. Join you on the couch.
Yeah, and we'll do better for next time, I guess, and we'll get a bunch of practice in. But hey, listen, if you're ever available and there's an opening, you can jump right into to doing one of these things and calling them. So
yeah, no, I'd be happy to commentate again. That was a lot of fun last night.
Yes, absolutely.
Less embarrassed than playing, but I don't know. I'm not too disappointed. This is the best run I've had personally. So
well, that's good. That's good. So a positive note to end the night, but my condolences again, and best of luck in your future SRL races.
Yep, thanks.
All right.
Thanks for restreaming and commentating. I'm going to probably check out the restream in a bit here.
Oh, yeah, you probably want to mute it. I wasn't nice. No, I'm just joking. I was all right. But, yeah. But, yeah, thanks again, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a good one.
All right, you too later. All right, guys, that about does it here. We had, once again, the recap. UndeadFil, number 36 ranked player in this tournament, defeats bentglasstube, the number 23rd player in this tournament. bentglasstube is on the sidelines now. He's on the rail. He was wamboozled. Feel free to throw up your Norman Chads in chat in respect. But UndeadFil is going to go on in the bonus bracket and play the number 7th ranked Jay Coper in the next round. Next round is due by... I believe that was the 23rd. I think it was 1 week from tomorrow. The 23rd of October. And I am correct. So that match has to be played within a week. And possibility you'll see it on Dig Shake's channel, my channel, or a channel near B. Dalton Walden Books, or wherever paperbacks are sold. But that's going to do it for now. On a personal note, I will be streaming tonight. I will probably play Zelda 2 Randomizer. GeoGuessr, maybe even a bonus game, Parappa the Rapper. Probably not, but you guys are all welcome to join me, and thanks for hanging out, and best of luck to everybody who's racing this week, and get your races in if you have not scheduled yet. So thanks a lot, guys.